They say the word loo comes from French l'eau, which means water. "Gardy loo" was the cry of many a medieval housewife, warning passers down below to watch out for the water as she flung the contents of her chamber pot from an upstairs window. That's just one story, though. There are many others. It might be from another French word, lieu, which means place. It might be after the Waterloo, a chamber pot named after a priest whose sermons were notorious for being so long the ladies needed somewhere to go during. In any case, Waterloo Station is not named for any of these, as far as we know. I suppose I should introduce myself. My name is Rachel, but they call me the Loo Lady. This station is a familiar haunt for me. Every week I come stand outside the toilets with a plunger to meet a new group of people to escort round the toilets, the loos of London. Let me take you on a short walk through the area and tell you my story. Start walking up that grand staircase just ahead. We're going to go into the main line station. This is where my story really begins. I'll meet you at the top of the stairs. Now that you're in the station, turn left. Waterloo is the busiest station in Britain, with over 94 million travellers a year. There's a constant hustle and bustle. I like to watch the people go by as I stand in front of that column by the ladies' toilets just past the Starbucks. Head over there and I'll tell you more. When I run tours, I stand here holding a toilet plunger and waiting and listening to the station announcements saying, "If you see any suspicious activity, please report it to a member of staff." And I think, yikes, and try to look as innocent as a person holding a toilet plunger can be. These are the main station toilets. If you go down the steps, you'll find your way barred by turnstiles asking you for 30p. You can check them out if you like now, but honestly they are unremarkable. If you do go in, pause the recording for a moment. You don't need to be taking me with you to the toilet. If every one of the 94 million travellers who come through Waterloo made just one visit, they would get over 250,000 users a day. The queue would probably be snaking round the station. They would also make a pretty decent profit. It's places like these that first inspired me to run loo tours. If you like, you can have a seat on that bench over there while I tell you about how it all began. I first came to London to study theatre, and I was always on the move, exploring the city and drinking in the culture and history. But if there was one thing I hated, it was paying to carry out bodily functions. This sense of justice and self-righteousness meant I would sometimes hunt for a half hour to find a loo that was free. London Loo Tours was born from the desire to share this knowledge. But you can't just go around and wee for 3 hours, so I needed a hook. And that is how I found myself plunged into the world of toilets, their history, their politics, and of course their humor. It's a more important subject than I ever could have imagined. Not only are public toilets closing at an alarming rate in the UK, worldwide, there are still 2.5 billion people who lack access to basic sanitation. Last year, the United Nations officially recognized 19th November as World Toilet Day in an effort to raise awareness of this global crisis. 19th November is also a significant date for me. It's the day my UK visa expires. The day I'll have to leave my London Loo tours behind and go back to California. I know there are worse things in life, but I do love it here. This is why I want to record my tours. If I can't be here, at least my ghost can. The Waterloo tour is just the start of this project, an experiment with tools which could open doors for you across the city. You'll meet the most patriotic toilets in London, the space-age pop-up urinals, the risque see-through toilets at the cellar door, and many more besides. For today, though, there's just one more thing I'd like to show you. Start walking towards the far end of the station.
If you see any suspicious activity, please report it to a member of staff.
One increasingly trendy thing in London are toilet conversions. Old underground public toilets that have been sold off and turned into homes, cafes, cocktail bars. Some of them have become quite famous. But there's one in this station that almost nobody knows about. I only found it because in 1988, a comedian and television presenter named Jonathan Routh published the final edition of his Good Loo Guide, Where to Go in London. The book details the best places for those with a particular interest, not just in toilets, but a toilet with charm and character. He calls his readers toileteers, which is more or less what we are today. We're heading to one of his favorite spots, which is the beer house opposite Platform 3. Meet me there at the top of the stairs. The beer house has had a few previous lives. Routh writes,
An economic alternative to the main station toilets exists in the only privately owned part of Waterloo Station, the enterprising and very French-looking Café de Piaf, down the great staircase opposite Platform 3. The really amazing fact about this place is that it used to be the main gents at Waterloo, and then in 1986 was converted to what it is today. Obviously, the management would prefer you to sample the other fares at the same time as you patronize their charming free loos.
This is where I'm going to leave you for now. Their toilets are still quite charming, and they have good beer and free Wi-Fi, so it's worth popping in for a bit. Some of the managers may even talk to you about its history if you ask nicely. If you've enjoyed the walk and want to know more, do visit lootours.com and our Kickstarter page to find out about how you can support recording full-length tours, complete with a musical soundtrack. A huge thank you to everyone who has supported the project thus far, especially to Ian Manley of VoiceMap and to Thomas Crapper and Company. Until next time, happy toileteering.